What's up, everybody? We're going to continue with the video courses. We're talking about better bow hunting and into some of the process and terminology and theory, if you will, as far as just building that base, building that foundation. In this video, we continue on with bracketing tools. We talked a little bit about it in the last video. So in this video, we're going to continue on and show you one of those. Now, I want to make sure that everybody knows I'm not pushing you to a certain product. I'm just letting you know what's out there and letting you know how you could apply it into your process and your structure. But this is not a fix-all. Okay, there's no fix-alls. Practice, fine-tuning your craft, honing your craft, and getting better with that is ultimately what's going to make you a better bow hunter. But there are tools like this one. This is called the dead-on rangefinder, and essentially it's very small. Okay, I'm going to show you here what it looks like. It's just a little piece of rubber with a bunch of holes through it. It's that small that it's even hard to see there. But what you do is you're going to mount that right on the inside of your sight housing. And I've actually done this before, where I've had one mounted on the inside and one on the outside. Okay, so it's flexible. You can mount it right on the inside of your housing there. I had one at one point mounted on the outside as well. But the theory here is you're using two constants to help you determine distance. And in this theory, the numbers that they use is 28 inches for elk and turkey. There's also numbers that break down for white-tailed deer, mule deer, and other species. But in theory, what you're doing is you're going to go downrange and put a spot. Again, 28 inches for elk. So what I'd be doing is marking this spot, okay? And I would then, in turn, once this is mounted on the inside of my sight, I would put a belly pin. There's some cheater marks on there if you want to use cheater marks based off your draw length and kind of certain holes. This is always something I encourage you to test and do it the long version way, just to make sure. So I would mount that rubber piece with the holes inside. Towards the bottom, I'd put a belly pin. You would then go back to 20 yards. Okay, I would line up my belly pin that's towards the bottom here on that bottom dot, and I would see where that top dot corresponds with that tape. In theory, at 20 yards, my green pin is 20 yards. I would put a green fiber in that slot hole. Back up to 30, do the same thing. I would then go with the red pins. It reflects my 30-yard pin. Now, as you get further back, you're going to notice with this type of bracketing tool, those pins start to get very close together. I would say that if you're going to consider using something like this, I would only encourage you to use it out to maybe 40 yards, a 20, 30, 40-yard reference, because I wouldn't trust anything like this out further. Okay, the use of a rangefinder is ultimately the only thing I would trust out as I get further into distance. And again, as we break down what we coach in our alpha bow hunting system into our first third, middle third, and last third of our effective range, if this tool helps you, what we coach to develop a constant number or a max yardage number that you judge to, or utilize a tool like this, maybe it's 25 yards, maybe it's 30 yards, whatever that is. Maybe it's just that extra handicap that you use to make sure you know, oh, that animal is outside of 30 yards, or no, it's inside, and I can go back to proceeding to possibly judging the target, or use that reference again if it's set properly. The other thing you can do the same thing with your sight. You've got references that are fixed in place. If you wanted to use, for example, the top of your level as a belly pin, and note that maybe at 20 yards it crosses between your 20 and 30 yard pin at that same reference, well, now you have that reference again. Or maybe you walk back and you figure out, hey, I want my constant number to be 25 yards. If it's inside of 25, I'll judge it. I got my little helper walking around here. If it's inside of 25 yards, I'll judge it. I'll proceed to continue moving forward to possibly take that shot. Nope, if it's outside of that, I won't do it. Or maybe it's 30 yards is your number, or 35. You can use your sight to determine one constant number, okay? That way you don't have a ton to remember. So again, maybe consider using the top of the level and then go to your pins. The other thing you can do is, the downside on some of these add-on tools or bracketing tools is this one's based off of a sticky piece of material that's stuck to the inside of your sight. you get into um, you get into weather situations, hot situations. You bump it out of place. Maybe you break the fibers that are in there. The other thing you can do is you can mark on your sight ring, mark a belly line. On this one, I can mark with the black Sharpie a fine line as my belly line, and I can go back to do the same thing. Average body size, 28 inches for a bull elk, and get my reference. And maybe I give myself a 25-yard mark and a 40-yard mark, or whatever your system entails. Make 1 or 2 marks on your sight ring and use that as your bracketing tool. So again, this is not meant to take over or take the place of good yardage judging skills or a rangefinder. This is just there to enhance and create that extra pillar or that extra fail-safe in the system that is whatever you decide to use. But in my system, in our system that we coach, everybody, in the system that we coach, it gives you that extra constant, that extra reference, because everything, again, compound archery is built around references. So use this, or use this type of tool to, again, enhance, not to band-aid or take the place of. It's all only used to enhance or check off one more extra box in the process. I'll relate it to when I was shooting a lot of competitive archery, judging 3D targets. I would usually use 3 methods to judge yardage. So this could be one of those 3 in not taking place of anything, but something like this could be one of those 3 processes that you use. So there have been other tools on the market. A lot of those have kind of went away because there's more variables that get introduced based off of different housing sizes, and some of them used to have a little wire you'd put inside your housing. But nonetheless, bracketing tools, or the use of 2 constants, again, a constant on your sight and a constant based off of a measurement at a certain distance, is just that, is another reference. So don't shy away from this. This is something for a hunting application that can be very valuable. I'm going to go ahead and I wanted to take this and actually mount it and do some testing out on the range. I've got a full-size elk target on the range, so I was going to use the measurement from that elk to create the bracketing tool and test. So that's something I'll do down the line, but it's snowing it out here where we're at, so I'm not going to be able to go out and do that today. But I do have the next video in the progression here. Viewer Tim Berg, he posed a great comment and a question, so I'm going to continue in the next video series breaking down further what is the bow hunting platform and the bow hunter putting themselves in the application to build their system, and get into the next video, and then we're going to progress from there. So if you have questions, leave a comment below. You can always email me, phil@nolimitsarchery.com. A couple things, if you guys like some of the new hats, we've got some of the new hats. We've got the Right Release, the Alpha Bow Hunting Engraved Edition. We've got 2 new Alpha t-shirts, the DBAP shirts. The new book's going to be online shortly. And actually there's about 4 or 5 new hats in general that should be coming in within the next couple weeks. So our store is going to be full of Alpha bow hunting gear here very soon. So check back. I'll put a link in the description also to get to the website and the store. If you want to purchase some gear, we appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribing and leaving a comment, checking the like button. And like always, this is not about me beating my chest or telling you that my way is the right way. This is about me trying to help you again, be the best bow hunter you can be. Develop that inner alpha with, unleash the inner alpha, if you will, is how we tag it in some of our shirts in the past and some of the things that we've done. So look at the tools, look at the platforms, look at the systems to take what you need to build your system and develop the best process and structure you can as you head out in the woods. So I appreciate you listening. We'll see you guys in the next video.